Farm Show on 100.5 and 790 News Radio WSGW and online WSGW.com.
A mostly sunny and hazy good morning to you. I hope your day is going well for you, wherever you might be. Terry Henne back at Radio Center, along with Matthew Lester and Lakin Dew Russell. Kind of a busy weekend for a lot of folks. Very nice on the outside, so you could get a little bit of work done. Not nearly as hot and not quite as muggy as what we have been seeing. We were getting a little bit more of a north and a northeast breeze, so it made it very pleasant to be outside and get some things done, and very pleasant overnight, not only on Friday night, but also on Saturday and again last night. Very quiet for the most part, dry conditions, and this is something that's becoming a little bit of a concern even for some folks that have been picking up more in the way of moisture for the month of July. Looks like we're off to a pretty dry start to the month of August. And according to all the latest projections that I've been able to gather and talk to, it looks as though it's going to be a fairly dry week around much of the state and moving into the weekend. Maybe there might be the possibility of seeing some precipitation during the weekend, but we'll just have to see. One thing that will change as we go through the week is going to be the temperatures. We're going to see a resumption of temperatures in that mid to upper 80-degree range, and we should hit some 90s, maybe 1 or 2 days as we go through the week. But I think that for the most part, it's going to be pretty uneventful. Other than the haze, the smoke, the air quality alerts continue, and it looks as though not only did they go all weekend, but we're going to be looking at them for at least the first part of the work week again. Maybe possibly by, maybe Wednesday or Thursday when we see the winds change, there will be the possibility of getting rid of some of it. We'll be looking at more of a south and a southwesterly breeze second half of the work week. Along with that is going to come an increase in the humidity, increase in the temperatures. So maybe, crossing our fingers, we should be able to move some of that smoke a little bit further north. Currently, Matthew, what do we have on the thermometer?
Currently, over at the airport, it's partly sunny at 75. Over in Midland, it's partly sunny at 77. Here, Radio Center, it's also partly sunny at 75. We have northeast winds at 5 miles per hour, and our pressure's at 30.23, and it's steady.
We saw the development of a tropical storm out in the Atlantic, well off the coast of the United States, so it's not anything that's causing danger along the East Coast. But one thing that this system is doing right now is it's blocking a lot of the flow from the west to the east across a good part of the continental United States. The only exception being along the Gulf Coast, where we're seeing a number of systems that will be moving from east to west, moving into the Gulf and then eventually into the Texas coastline. So we'll keep an eye on those, but right now it appears as though whatever does happen along the Gulf Coast is pretty much going to stay there. Southeastern parts of the continental United States will continue to be very humid. They will be wet. Right now they're getting quite a bit of precipitation in a good part of Georgia and also along the Gulf Coast, running from the Florida Panhandle all the way back into and around Corpus Christi, Texas, and into the eastern part of Texas. But those systems seem to be breaking down as they try to advance to the north. So we're not looking at much of anything in the way, even in the Tennessee Valley or the Ohio River Valley, of seeing any storm activity. There is some storm activity that is occurring right now in eastern portions of Nebraska, but all of that is heading in a north direction. It is breaking down, isolated, spotty type stuff, flare up in the afternoon and the early evenings and then die down. And right now, the northeastern third of Minnesota is getting some precipitation there. They haven't been that short on moisture out there, and they're continuing to get on and again, off again shower activity. But for us in the Great Lakes and really, quite frankly, a good portion of the continental United States, it is smoky and quite dry. So what's going to be happening? High pressure over New England is dominating our weather right now. It's a deep, very intense high pressure system. So that's going to continue to keep us in the uneventful side of things for the next several days. 83 is our projected high with mostly sunny skies, clear skies tonight, a low of 59. Sun will set this evening at 8:55, rise tomorrow morning at 6:30. Tomorrow, sunshine, 84, maybe working up to 85, 62 for a low tomorrow night. Then on Wednesday, carbon copy, more of the same, sunshine, a little bit warmer, 86 for a high, 64 for a low. Then on Thursday, sunshine, 88 for a high, clear skies Thursday night with a low of 66. Then on Friday, sunshine, 90 degrees for a high, 68 for a low. Saturday, right now, you guessed it, sunshine, 92 for a high on Saturday, 73 for a low on Saturday night. Then on Sunday, we're going to have a few more clouds around. That's what it looks like right now. And a chance of an afternoon or an evening shower. 90 degrees for a high on Sunday. And again, the chance of showers, they'll be isolated, widely scattered. Then moving into the work week next week, we're going to be looking at precipitation pretty close to normal, much above normal on the temperatures as we move through the middle of the month all the way through the 17th of August. Record high in this state is 97. It was set back in 1944. The record low 45, set in 1951. A year ago, it was warm. 88 was our high, 65 was our low, and we were warm. We had no precipitation so far the first 3 days of August a year ago, and that's the way it's going to work out this year. As far as the warmest ever, 4th of August, 1955 is where you got to go. 96 was our high, 74 was our low. The coldest, you got to go back to 1972. Now, August, as far as precipitation goes, is normally one of the wetter months. On average, across the state, we're looking at somewhere around 3.85 inches of precipitation in the month of August. But the wettest ever was set really not all that long ago, 2012. We had almost 9.5 inches of precipitation in August that year. It was a very warm summer in 2012. We got almost 7 inches of rain in one day on August the 10th of that year, back in 2012. More on the weather as we go through the broadcast. Standing by, who do we have, Matthew?
Coming up next, we have Gary Kaufman from Star of the West, and we also have Doug Klein from Oppenheimer.
Well, before we get to them, we want to remind you the weather forecast brought to you by the folks at Nutrien Ag Solutions.
Nutrien Ag Solutions has the local expertise to recommend the corn, soybean, and other seed products that are the best fit for your field. Plus, unparalleled agronomic support with products and services to unlock yield potential and improve crop performance from planting to harvest. Ask about our financing options to help you get more from every acre and lead the field. Visit your local Nutrien Ag Solutions branch or go to nutrienagsolutions.com.
Say, do you want to unlock the secret to higher yields? If you're applying dry fertilizer, the key to better yield potential is Titan XC. Titan XC is a fertilizer biocatalyst that unlocks and releases the bound-up nutrients in granular fertilizer, promoting better root uptake and plant growth. Drive performance this season and beyond. Release more nutrition. Expect better results with Titan XC. For more information, visit lpi.ag/unlock or contact your Nutrien Ag Solutions crop consultant today. You know, I had a lot of people over the weekend ask me about RoofMax. My friend Ben at RoofMax, and they told me one of the reasons why they were thinking about it is not only had they heard it on the farm show, but they had their gutters cleaned because they were running into some issues. And they thought it might be a really good time, given this dry weather, to check things out before things got a little bit wet, because Mother Nature always decides to try to even things out, if you know what I mean. They noticed there was a lot of granular stuff that comes from asphalt shingles in their gutters, and it all had to be cleaned out. Well, the nice thing about it, when I had Ben do my roof, that's exactly what I was facing. I didn't really consider it a problem, but still, I thought, well, better check. And it's a good thing I did, because my roof has plenty of life in it yet. But what RoofMax did, that treatment, is it stopped a lot of that granulars from coming into my gutter. And my guess is it'll probably do the same thing for you if you check it out and you notice that that's what you're getting. You're getting some buildup on the roof. Because remember, the Roof Max process, it's a revolutionary treatment. It does restore flexibility and it does extend the life of your roof. You will save thousands of dollars and one big headache. Safe, quick, comes with a transferable warranty. Might be a really good idea to ask benhow.com. Go to that and ask him. Give him a call, 989-859-6751. He'll come right out to your house. He'll set up a free roof assessment, and he'll tell you what's going on. And in some cases so far I've heard, there's some work that had to be done. Matter of fact, there were a couple of roofs that weren't really installed properly back years ago, and Ben discovered it. Little bit of care today will save you a whole lot more tomorrow. Check them out. Give them a call today. 989-859-6751. Coming up, Lakin Durussell will be joining us. And Lakin, we're going to talk a little bit about that farm bill.
Yes, we will. The issues facing a new farm bill in the Senate.
Yeah, they've got a lot of other things on their mind, don't they?
Yes, they do.
And we'll find out more about that. So more on that with Lakin Durussell. Also, a little bit later on, Eric Sawatsky with Yo and Yo is going to be talking about the tax filing deadline for 2025, that there might be some adjustment on that, a change. So we'll get more on that as we go through the show. But first of all, Gary Kaufman at Star of the West. I see that we've got a couple commodities that are in the black right now, which hadn't been happening lately.
Oh, that's pretty much the tale of the tone for seemed like the whole month of July, Terry, for some reason. Yeah, last week of July was no different. For the week last week, wheat was down about 21 cents, corn was down about a dime, and beans were down about 37 cents. But overnight, we were down a little bit. Early this morning, we're down. But yeah, like you said, we've turned the table on a couple of them. At least we got a couple of greens on the board now. So
good move in the soybean pit so far. Any particular reason why?
Yeah, for the most part, from what I've read here this morning, it seems like to be getting some soybean meal seems to be firmer for the third consecutive day. So that's given the soybeans a little bit of support, and a lot of the pressure was coming from the bean oil market, not the meal market. But yeah, there seems to be a little bit more meal going out the back door. So that's given soybeans a little punch in the arm here this morning. So
now, do we have any reports coming up fairly soon?
Yeah, the next WASDE report, Terry, is on the 12th, which is a week from tomorrow. And yeah, starting this afternoon, we're going to start getting some estimates on some yields between this afternoon and all the way up to leading to that report on the 12th. And boy, I tell you what, they're expecting some pretty big yields on corn and beans. The trade is I think trading 185 bushel yield on corn and 54 bushel per acre on yields for sort of soybeans. So, but the way the market's reacting, they definitely think it's out there with nice rainfall we've gotten in the month of July. So.
Yeah. So right now on the board, what do you have, Gary?
Yeah, right now, let's call cash wheat up a penny at 472 on the white, 433 on the red. New crop up a penny at 532 on the white, 482 on the red. Cash corn unchanged, let's call it, at 335. New crop also unchanged at 346. Cash soybeans and new crop soybeans up 4, Terry, at 913.
You have a great day, Gary. Take care, all right?
Yep, you too. Thanks, Terry.
You bet. Gary Kaufman over at Star of the West talking about reports. The Michigan Corn Growers Association wants you to know that the Between the Rows tour is kicking off coming up on the 18th of August, and it'll go through the 28th. So every stop is going to have a catered dinner, input market update, and a grain marketing update by local industry experts. So mark those dates down and go to micorn.corn and get a breakout as far as all the different areas that they are going to be featured. The 28th is going to be in the Akron area That'll be at the Vader Farm, so check that out. Market report brought to you by the folks at Thumb Bank. They've got a big field day coming up, the third of their 3. It'll be tomorrow between 11 and 2. It'll be up in Pigeon on Burn Road, just north of Pigeon. We'll be broadcasting from that field day tomorrow. Look forward to seeing you and chatting a little bit and looking at some of the tillage demonstrations that are going to be going on. Again, Thumb Bank, their annual field day. This one will be in Huron County, just north of Pigeon. We say good morning to Doug Klein over at Oppenheimer. Doug, what's going on today?
Well, let's see. One of the Fed governors is resigning, and this gal is part of the interest rate setting group. So Trump's going to be able to replace her with somebody that's favorable to him. The market likes that. So the dollar's down a little bit on that news. That's helping things along. Trump said that the numbers on Friday were rigged by federal employees that were upset with him because he's firing so many of them. It's sending them packing because they aren't worth anything really. But so that's got the stock market bouncing back from Friday's sell-off, just kind of down and up. Equal for Friday to Monday. So
down and up,
if you
and
bought
down and up. Yeah.
Jeez. But Dow Chemical hit a new low today, 2140. So that's not pretty. Their dividend is still pushing close to 7%. So I don't know what's going to happen there. And the usual suspects hitting new highs today too. So that's kind of same old. But here's your numbers. The September corn is 389.5, unchanged. December corn 410, down 3/4 of a penny. August soybeans 968 3/4, up 7. November soybeans 995, up 5 3/4. The September wheat 518 1/4, up 1 1/2, and December wheat 538 3/4, up 1 3/4. The crude oil is 66.82, down 50 cents. Heating oil is 232.40, that's up 2.5 cents. Gasoline is 211.77, that's unchanged. And natural gas is 293.5. That is up or down 15 cents. Canadian dollar, U.S. dollar buys $1.3774 Canadian. That's down 11 ticks. The dollar buys 147.11 yen. That's down 25 ticks. The euro is at 115.70, down 14 ticks. And the dollar's at 98.73, down 40 ticks. Gold's at 33.76.10, up 28.40 an ounce. Silver's 37.14, up 35.5 cents. Platinum's 13.52.30, that's up $35.40. Little old copper at 443.40, that is down 1/10 of 1 cent.
Yeah, taking a snooze.
Yeah, big time.
Little old copper. We'll talk to you later. Take care, Doug.
Okay, sounds good.
Doug Klein over at Oppenheimer. We're going to take a break, and we'll be joined with Lake and Dew Russell and Kevin Messing with Michigan Sugar Company. All of that coming up, but first this. Are you upset with your current planter performance? Are you considering buying a new planter but blown away from sticker shock? With Precision Planting's V-Set, V-Drive, and Delta Force, we can retrofit your old planter to outperform any new planter on the market. Then access all your data from planting to harvest easily with Field View. Call PC Ag Solutions today and get your parts ordered, installed, and ready to go for the upcoming growing season. 989-868-4444. PC Ag Solutions. Farm Service brought to you today by the folks at Freeland Bean and Grain. They've got a good selection of products from Sure Crop and Nature's to help you increase your yields, and also some really good advice. You're probably going to need it as we roll into August and everything really becomes critical as far as those crops go. Serving you is their business, and they've been doing it since 1983, Freeland Bean and Grain. Lakin, let's talk a little bit about that farm bill. Seems to be on the back burner.
It has been 2 years since a farm bill was passed in the Senate. CJ Miller has more about the issues facing the passage of a new bill.
Well, partisan fights over President Trump's nominees are eating up a lot of time that's needed to do a 5-year farm bill this year. That's according to Senate Majority Leader John Thune, who says he'd like to focus on getting a 5-year farm bill passed this year, since one hasn't otherwise been able to pass on Capitol Hill for the past 2 years.
I would love to get the elements of the farm bill that didn't get done in the one big beautiful bill dealt with in a normal way.
Thune says a ton of farm bill safety net provisions were included in the one big beautiful bill, from improved reference prices and crop insurance to livestock disaster aid and conservation. But doing a farm bill this year will take bipartisan cooperation that Thune says just isn't there.
But remember, it's hard to find time to do things on the floor when you're spending all your time on nominations, which is where we are right now. And if the Democrats, they can change that if they want to, but it's very hard to do substantive legislation at a time when we're dealing with personnel 24/7, which is the situation we find ourselves in right now.
Thune says that Senate Democrats are slowing down Trump's nominations to a crawl as they face a fiscal deadline of September 30th for spending bills and a lapsing farm bill extension.
C.J. Miller with Michigan Ag Today. A new farm bill will require 60 votes to pass in the Senate, meaning the Republicans will have to win over some Democrats if they want to see a new farm bill in 2025.
Very interesting. Lakin, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Lakin do Russell. Let's take a quick look here and see what's going on with our sugar beet fields. Kevin Messing joining us right now. Kevin's report brought to you by Foster Blue Water Oil and Blue Flame Propane. Kevin, good morning.
Good morning, Terry.
What's going on out in the fields right now, Kevin?
Well, we are dry and we're starting to see those effects on the crop right now.
As far as seeing any activity, fungus-wise, insect-wise, what are we looking at?
Yeah, so we've seen some signs of lygus bug, which, based on the calendar, to be expected this time of year. Nothing terrible, no bad infestations yet, but we are trending dry, and even considering that, heavy dews in the morning and warm nights, Cercospora is still active. It seems like our grower spray programs are really keeping that disease in check for the most part, but we are seeing some spots, areas and fields where maybe programs are a little weaker, that the disease is starting to get a little bit more of a foothold in there.
What are we looking at as far as projected date to begin some harvest here?
You know, that's kind of a tough one right now. I know we've been talking about planning on starting the factories, I believe, around the 20th of August. We're digging our second full yield sample this week, and we'll have some sugar results later Thursday or early Friday. So another data point's always good for helping make decisions. And seeing where that sugar is at and where our crop yield is laying. But right now, they're saying the factories are going to be ready around that 20th of August. So we will see how this crop progresses from there, though.
All righty. Thank you so much, Kevin. Really appreciate it. You have a great day.
Thank you, Terry. Have a good one.
I will. Kevin Messing, agronomist with Michigan Sugar Company. Eric Sawatsky joining me right now from Yo and Yo Accounting. And Eric, what's this about the tax filing for 2025?
Yeah, Terry, what we're hearing right now, I mean, we've heard a lot of good things about the one beautiful bill and how that's going to help people from a tax perspective. Unfortunately, it's going to create a lot of additional work for the IRS. And right now, they're projecting to actually see about a 25% reduction in their labor force over the next month or so due to early retirement and a number of different things that have been going on. So internally, they're shorthanded and have to get all the changes from the bill into place. So the current word we're getting is it might be delayed, the start of tax season being when people can start filing their individual tax returns. Typically, that's maybe the last week in January. They're saying it could be as late as President's Day. So we're talking maybe even February 16th before we could see individual tax returns filed next year. We're hoping that's not the case, but I just wanted to get that word out there that there may be some delay in filing, and it's good to not delay on your end next year because you're going to get in line probably if you're trying to get tax returns out the door, and we're starting 3 weeks later than usual.
There you go. Good advice. Eric, thank you so much. Good to talk as always. We'll talk to you again soon.
You too, Terry.
Eric Swatsky with Yo and Yo Accounting. We'll be right back.
For 100 years, Forward Energy has been more than just a home heat and fuel provider. We've been a part of your community, and you've been a part of our family through every storm, every season, and every moment. We've been right here, keeping you warm and safe. As your hometown energy provider, we deliver more than just propane. We deliver peace of mind with reliable service, quality you can count on, and a commitment to always being there when you need us most. Forward Energy, 100 years strong, fueled by family, powered by community.
When it comes to strength, reliability, and performance, nothing beats a PowerLift hydraulic door. Built right here in Marlette, Michigan, our custom hydraulic doors are designed for your toughest jobs. Agriculture, aviation, commercial, and more. The price we give is an installed price, and you'll deal with one point of contact from start to finish. To schedule your PowerLift door consultation, call 989-635-8017 or visit PowerLiftDoorsMI.com. PowerLift Hydraulic Doors of Michigan. When you need it done right, we lift you above the rest.
Coming up the end of the week, we'll be broadcasting from Caro, Tuscola County Fairgrounds, the Thumb Area Old Engine and Tractor Association 49th Annual Show. It'll be brought to you by the folks at Steiner Tractor. Back at 12:30 with an update. Now we conclude with the playing of our national anthem, brought to you by Euclid Avenue Coin in Bay City.
Broadcasting from the Stormmaster Exterior Studios, WSGW, Saginaw, Bay City, Midland, WSGW FM, Carlton.